Have you ever been told your messy desk is a sign of a messy mind? Or maybe you felt a little embarrassed because you caught yourself talking out loud? Well, what if those little quirks aren't flaws at all? What if they're actually signs of a highly active, really intelligent brain at work? Let's dive in and take a second look at these so-called weird habits. Because maybe, just maybe, they're not quirks, but clues to how your brain is uniquely wired.
Yeah, let's start right there, with the desk. Because that pile of papers, the pens scattered all over, it might be telling a very, very different story than the one you've been led to believe.
And this gets us to our first big idea, something we're calling the focus paradox. It's this fascinating concept that explains how certain habits, things that look like flaws on the surface, are actually signs of a mind that's laser-focused on prioritizing what truly matters.
Okay, so just look at the contrast here. The common view, right? You see a messy desk and you immediately think, disorganized, maybe even lazy. But the cognitive view, that tells a totally different story. It sees a mind so wrapped up in huge abstract problems that it literally doesn't have the mental energy to spare for something as trivial as organizing pens. All that power is being channeled into the big ideas, not the superficial stuff. And believe it or not, it's the exact same principle when it comes to forgetting names. You know how it is, you meet someone, their name goes in one ear and right out the other, and you instantly feel rude. But from a brain's perspective, it's just being incredibly efficient. It's making a split-second calculation that says, hey, this name is not as important as that complex idea I'm working on. So it filters it out to save processing power for the bigger task at hand. So what ties both of these habits together is a process called attention allocation. Here's a way to think about it. Your brain is like a bouncer at the world's most exclusive club. It's constantly deciding which pieces of information get past that velvet rope and which ones have to wait outside. It's not a flaw in your attention span, it's a feature. It shows you exactly where your brain chooses to aim its powerful spotlight. All right, let's move on to our next habit, talking to yourself. Come on, we've all done it, right? Muttering to ourselves while looking for our keys. It might feel a little strange, but it turns out science shows it's actually an incredibly powerful cognitive tool. And this quote just nails it. It completely destigmatizes the whole thing. It's not madness, not even close. When you talk to yourself, you're taking the jumble of chaotic thoughts swirling around in your head and you're forcing them into a logical structure. And that process, well, that's a hallmark of high-level thinking. The formal term for this is verbalizing thoughts, and here's why it's so powerful. It forces your inner monologue out into the real world. When you speak your ideas, you make them concrete. It helps you organize information, spot the flaws in your own logic, and lock those solutions into your memory way more effectively. And this is basically the roadmap for how it works. You start with a complex, tangled-up problem in your head, then you externalize it. You actually speak the words. That simple act of forming sentences forces you to organize everything, and that is often the final step you need to get to that amazing aha moment of clarity. So we've got messy desks, we've got forgotten names, we have talking to ourselves. They all seem so unrelated, don't they? But they're not. They all point back to one single overarching concept. This is the big idea, the unifying theory that ties all these strange little quirks together. And here it is. This is the key. These behaviors aren't just random. They are direct symptoms of what psychology calls a cognitive preference, which is really just the unique, fundamental way that your specific brain is wired to work. Think of it like your own personal mental fingerprint. It's totally unique to you. And for some people, that fingerprint shows a brain that is hardwired to prioritize the big, abstract world of ideas over the small, mundane details of daily life. That's exactly why a complex scientific theory might stick in your head forever, while an acquaintance's name or where you left your keys just vanishes. So, what's the bottom line here? What should we take away from all this? First, that intelligence isn't just one thing. Those weird habits of yours could actually be signs of some really sophisticated brain functions. Your brain is always prioritizing things based on your unique cognitive preference. So remember, it's not about being messy or forgetful. It's about what your mind has decided is truly worthy of its focus. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought. Instead of judging your own quirks or feeling weird about them, maybe ask yourself this: what weird habit of yours might actually be your secret superpower? What might it be telling you about where your true, unique genius really lies?